This
I think
conference will now be recorded.
and someone is using PyCharm, right?
But we
Yeah, tell me. Yes, Mani, tell me. Mani or Sai, tell me something. Your hello.
Revant.
Yes, Raven, tell me. So what's it's something you're trying to be raise the
just
question. Okay, just I'm opening the Jupyter notebook. So have you executed yesterday's class or not?
yes, sir, we executed,
Yeah.
but not in the Jupyter notebook, just in the Google Colab.
Okay, so you are trying to do that from the Google Colab. I think I'm also doing the same from the Google Colab only, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So can we go for using Google Colab or else Anaconda? Which one is your okay for it?
Which one is good? You just go with that.
So both are similar. Okay, so not much thing, but every time we should exposure for the new tools. Okay, so Google Colab is also very similar to the Anaconda only, but yeah.
That's fine. We can go with Anaconda.
Yeah, if you let's see
We
how
will
the yeah.
no problem. But the thing is, our friends know how to install the Anaconda. Just go with the class. We will install it by today evening, and we will just run the programs.
Yeah, sure. So if I install the Anaconda, okay, then we
Sir,
can open Jupyter Notebook. Then I would like to go for store any one of the so you have to create your own folder wherever you want to be store it. Okay, for example, I would like to go for creating the new folder. So here on the right side of the top corner we have the new and or text file and folder. You can click on the folder and now you just created the folder, but default it was an untitled folder. Okay, so we can rename it. So we just select and deselect, then we will get the option here, rename option. We can rename it. For example, this is for money and Sai batch, right? So that I can write the folder of that particular thing is money and Sai, and I just gone to this particular one, and I would like to start a new Python file. Again, you can click on the new and Python 3. Okay, when you do this thing, then it was created the some new Jupyter file, and that file also it doesn't have any name, so I can change the name. So what is the class I was explaining yesterday? Still where I stop. I mean, where I stopped the yesterday class. So, what's the last topics I was mentioned? Am I completed Python data types? Just variables only, right? Still Python variables only explained, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so today I would like to start about Python data types.
Yeah, data.
Yeah, okay, fine. So I would like to give the name of this one. So every time it will be the easy to understand what is the file it is, which file which is belongs to, because of I'm handling the multiple batches. So I might be confused. Okay. Okay, fine. So now I would like to talk about the data types. Okay, see how the Google Colab is working the same way Jupyter also can work. Okay, but the default it was in a code mode. But if you want to change this particular code mode into the text mode, you just click on the code and click on the markdown. Okay, once if you click on the markdown, then which is now text mode actually, markdown in the sense documentation mode. So here I would like to talk about data type, right? So hashes will use it for here when it is the markdown mode, which means that it's a heading. Okay, data types. So now tell me, what is data types? What is data types? Data type means a type of data, we are calling it saying type of data. Type of data we are calling it's a data type. Okay, the type of data is holded by variable, that also we can say that it's a data type only. Okay,
And also, I have one small doubt. What's that symbol? Why you're using that always before that?
which one?
Here you used before type of data, right?
అది మామూలు ఇండికేషన్ మనీ అంతే.
Okay, let me finish it. Okay, I will tell you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. See, ఇది ఈ యాష్ క్యారెక్టర్ ఏంటంటే జుపిటర్ నోట్బుక్ లో మనకి 2 ఆప్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా. సో దెర్ ఈస్ 2 ఆప్షన్స్ ఆర్ దేర్. ఒకటి ఏంటంటే మనము వీ కెన్ రైట్ ద కోడ్ హియర్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్. Okay, is it okay for you now if I go and little, so you and me, none of new guys there here. Okay, so Sai and Mani and మనం ముగ్గురమే ఉన్నాం. Okay, so
Okay.
we'll go with comfortable language. Okay,
Okay.
సో ఫైన్. సో మన యాక్చువల్గా జుపిటర్ నోట్బుక్ మనం 2 ways లో యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. సో ద ఫస్ట్ వన్ ఈస్ అ కోడ్ మోడ్ అండ్ సెకండ్ వన్ ఈస్ టెక్స్ట్ మోడ్. సో వెన్ ఇట్ ఈస్ అ టెక్స్ట్ మోడ్, సి హెడ్డింగ్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, హెడ్ 1 అంటే it's a little bigger. You can just try to observe here, it's a little bigger. Okay,
Yeah.
if I use it the 2 hashes, then the size was heading it was reduced to little less when you compare with the previous one. Okay, so if I use the 3, then it was little small, right? If I use
Yeah.
the code, it was, I mean, it was heading, but it was little small, bold only, but it is little small. Okay, so again, if I use one more, then again it was changing the format. If I use
Yeah.
the 5, then it was changed to format. So if I use the 6 hashes, so even this is also can work. Is it 6? Yes, 6. If I use the 7, then what happens? Okay, so
Is-
7 hashes are not provided by the Jupyter notebook. I mean, this markdown. Okay, the single hash, in case of it is a markdown mode, in case of it's a markdown mode. Okay, the single hash indicating that followed by the space, which meaning is it is the heading. Okay, but it's the main heading, this is subheading, and this is sub little smaller than the previous one, it is little smaller than the previous one, and it is the, I mean, 5th type of heading, this is 6th type of heading, this is 7th type of heading. That means h1, h2, h3, h4, h5, h6, h7. Okay, so this is the meaning of the hashes. I hope you clear my point. Okay,
Yeah.
now something you are writing without hashes, something you're writing inside a without hashes, which means that it's a normal text only, but just for pointing purpose, I'm using the arrow marks. Pointing purposes, it's only for pointing purposes. Okay,
సో
so
అది
it
మ్యాండేటరీ కాదు కదన్న
not
తర్వాత.
mandatory, it's never mandatory, so just to go ahead, so it's a comfortable actually. Okay, markdown in the sense what, it's a document kada, document అంటే ఏంటి, ఎవరికి నచ్చినట్టు వాళ్ళు రాసుకోవచ్చు. Okay,
ఓకే.
సో ఇక్కడ నేను పాయింట్ రాశాను, యూ కెన్, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ డేటా టైప్స్ గురించి ఒక 5 పాయింట్స్ ఉన్నాయి అనుకోండి, సమ్ పీపుల్ కెన్ రైట్ లైక్ 1 పాయింట్. ఓకే, సమ్ పీపుల్ కెన్ రైట్ 8 డాట్, సమ్ పీపుల్ కెన్ రైట్, what happened, some people can write Roman numbers, some people can write stars, just okay, so we can use whatever the thing you're comfortable, right?
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable with 2 hashes and 2 bars and arrow mark, so it is a bullet point, nothing but. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the what. Okay, so Jupyter markdown, you can we can write the headings as well as we can write the normal text also. Okay, the same thing will be there in a collab as well. So that's a new section, something will be there. Okay, so anyway, you can write in such a way some kind of text inside of this particular markdown mode or cell. Okay, so data type means it's a type of data which is holded by the variable that we're calling it's a data type. Okay, so in case of Python programming language, there are 2 type of data types are there. The first one is the fundamental data type. If it is a small size, then what I can do, fundamental data type. So fundamental data type, and the second type is a sequential data type. Sequential data type. So tell me, what is a fundamental data type and what is a sequential data type? See, here the difference between the fundamental data type and the sequential data type. Here also we have a single variable. Okay, the point I'm writing here, the point. Okay, so okay, point is fundamental data type means so we have a single variable. Okay, the single variable which is always holding only single data element. That kind of data type we are calling it same fundamental data type. Single variable can hold single data element, only single data element, only one data element. Okay, here the data can be anything again. So whenever one single variable which is holding only one single data, that we are calling it say fundamental data type. Okay, for example, here 23. So here 23 is the single data or not? Here a is the variable, right? So here the single data which is holding by the single variable. So this kind of data type we are calling it say fundamental data type. This kind of data type we are calling it say fundamental data type. So there are 5 fundamental data types are there. The first one is the integer. Second one is the floating number or integer numbers. Here numbers, okay, and floating numbers or complex numbers. Next one is boolean. So boolean numbers, boolean data, okay. And last but not least, which is the none data, okay, none in the sense nothing. So these are the 5 are the fundamental data type. So each and every data type which is having its own predefined class. So for integers there is a predefined class is there, which is the int class. For representing the and for understanding whether it is a float numbering or not, so which is there the default of predefined class, which is the float class, okay. And for understanding the complex numbers, and the complex numbers can be treated by the Python as the complex class, okay. And meanwhile, if we have the boolean data numbers or boolean data elements, the Python programming language treating that it's a bool class. So one thing you should try to understand here, these are all predefined classes. So you can simply say that it's a data type and the corresponding predefined class. Okay, is it clear my point? Is it clear or not?
So clear.
So I just go through the each and everything with a small examples. Okay, let me go for understanding the integer. When it is an integer, I already told you we have a predefined class. The name of the class is int class, and you know already the variables which can be directly holding the data. But when and what kind of data, if the variable is holded, then that particular variable we are calling it say integer. Tell me. For example, if we have a variable, it can be holding some kind of positive numbers. It can be anything. If you're holding the number, it can be the 0, and it can be a number. It can be holding some negative number. That means minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, anything in between plus infinity to minus infinity. You can hold anything actually. Okay, that kind of data type we are calling it same integer number instead of the fractional numbers, with just holding some kind of decimal. I mean the whole number. We can simply say that it's a whole number. Okay, so in case of Python programming language, if I want to know the data type of anything, then we can have a predefined class is there, or we have a predefined method is there, which is the type method. With help of this one, it can be returns the data type of any variable. Data type of any variable. If we have one particular variable, so that variable which is holding some data, so I want to know that what is the data type of which is. With help of the type function, we can simply return it. So with help of the print function, we can display it. So we are displaying the data type of var. We are going to be displaying the, oh sorry, it's not var, it's a A, because of you are holding the A, you're holding the data in A, and you're holding the data in B, and you're holding the data in C, so that we are finding the data type of these three variables. We can try to observe here. We can try to observe here. Here the data is a very large number, right? Here the also very small number. It's a minus, right? Minus indicating that it's a smaller numbers. So minus numbers are very smaller than the zero. Okay. So which is started with minus infinity to which is ends with plus infinity. In between that, what are the numbers we have it? That all numbers we're calling it say integer numbers only. But one thing we should remember, those are the numbers are the whole numbers. That means there is no any kind of fractional data. So that kind of data type we are calling, that kind of data we are calling it say integers. When the variable which is holding some kind of integer data, then that particular data type we are calling it say int type or int data type. Okay. Any question?
No.
No.
So for same example, I would like to go for understanding the floating numbers. Floating numbers are fractional numbers. Usually people can call it a fractions. Okay. Or mantissa numbers, fractional numbers, rational numbers. There is a different names are there. Okay. So the predefined class is a float. So when we have a number with which is not possible to count, that kind of number we are calling it say okay floating numbers. So here, so you know what, if we have a number, for example, if we consider 1 and 2, in between the 1 and 2 again we have infinity numbers are there. We have infinity numbers are there. Yes or no? For example, 0.000000000 somewhere else it is there, right? Even 1.999999999, right? So in between the 1 and 2 there are infinity numbers are there. Okay, there are infinity numbers are there. So that kind of numbers we are going to be representing. So that kind of continuous data also we are going to be representing, then we can use the float. Let me consider a small example. I want to be hold the height of each and every person. Height in the sense what? It's a 5.6 or 5.7, right? It's never like 5 or 6, right? So it's never having like sometimes it might having the 5 and 6, but most of the situations it's a 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5. So if you want representing that kind of data, we can use the float. For example, I can give one more example. Tell me how many number of students are in the class. I want to store the number of students in the class. So there is some count of countable number, something we can able to count it, that we are calling it say integers. Something which cannot be countable, then it's a floating numbers actually. So is it possible exact measurement of the height of the each and every person? No, it is not possible. Clear? Exact value, which is not possible. So there where we are mentioning some kind of fractional data, so that we are calling this a floating type of data. Okay. So when you are holding the data in such a way, then that kind of data we are calling it say float data. Is there any question?
No,
No.
sir. కాదు.
చెప్పమ్మా మనీ నాతోనేనా?
నేను కాదన్నా రేవంత్.
రేవంత్.
No worries. No
రేవంత్.
worries. Yeah, I got it, sir. No worries.
Okay. Yeah, now we'll go for understanding the complex numbers. మీరు చిన్నప్పుడు మ్యాథమెటిక్స్ ఎప్పుడైనా చదువుకున్నారా? అంటే ఇంటర్మీడియట్ లో కానీ బీటెక్ లో కానీ కాంప్లెక్స్ నెంబర్స్ ఐడియా ఉందా? ఎక్స్ ప్లస్ వైఐ ఫార్మాట్ లో ఉంటాయి, ఐడియా ఉందా?
ఉందన్న.
ఓకే, సో వాట్ ఇట్ ఈస్, what does mean that here x, what does mean that here y? So this I indicating that it's imaginary. That means the preceding number, whatever it is, which is the imaginary number, right? Okay, so whatever the number which is not having the I, then it's a real number. Let me consider square root of -1 or square root of -1. What it is?
It's a imaginary number. It's infinite. No answer, right?
Yeah. What is I square? I square is nothing but it's a -1, right?
Yeah.
I square is nothing but it's a -1, right?
Yeah.
-1, -1.0, whatever it is. So when you're doing that square root of minus I, that means, so when you're doing the I, it means what? Square root of -1. Okay, so when you want to representing the negative numbers with the squares, okay, then we can use the I, right? Imaginary numbers, right? So this kind of imaginary numbers we can representing in Python programming language with help of the J character instead of the I. Okay, so here in place of X, in place of Y, it can be integer, it can be the float. X can be the integer, Y can be the integer. X can be the float, Y can be the float, or X can be the integer, Y can be the float, or Y can be the float, or X can be the float, or Y can be the integer. So there might be permutations are there because of there is only two numbers are there, right? Either integer, either float. We have only two numbers, either integer, either float, right? So X can be integer or X can be float. Y can be integer, Y can be float. There is no limitation. We should use only integer. We should use only float. Okay, it can be anything. But thing is that when a number which is preceding with a J character, which indicating that it's an imaginary number. Okay, when you want to hold some kind of real and imaginary number, the Python is supporting with help of the complex data type. Complex data type. So for example, here X can be 34 plus 34 56. Here 56 is imaginary number, 34 is the real number. Okay, for example, B 0.0. Okay, so both can be the 0, it doesn't matter, but make sure that it must be following the J. If it is not having the J, it's not a complex number. So complex number must be representing with a J. So next one is C equal to 3.4 plus 56.0. So you can use any data type. It doesn't matter why you are using only this type of data. Okay, we can use any type of data as a real and imaginary, but make sure that when your combination of the real and imaginary, that kind of data type you're calling it a complex data type. Clear?
Yes, sir.
This is what. So would you like to execute the statements, or once the session is done, will you go for execute yourself? Which one
Once the
is
session
comfortable?
is done, we will try it, sir. No worries.
Sorry, once the session is done, we're going to be trying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Why? Because we could recall the entire class and we could try by ourselves, right? That's the thing I am thinking of.
Okay, fine, no problem. What about money? Are you accepted that point, or else would you like to go for execute at this moment itself?
No, that's fine. We can do it together.
Okay, fine, that's great thing. So now we'll try to go for understanding the Boolean data, Boolean numbers. I think, am I explaining any kind of keywords? In a keywords, we have some keywords are there. The keyword is false keyword. The keyword is true keyword. These two
Yeah.
are the keywords. Okay, these two keywords are help you to representing the Boolean data. It's a Boolean true. Sorry, it's a Boolean false. This is Boolean true. If you want to be hold the Boolean true, then we can use the true keyword.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a meaning of the true keyword and false keyword. For example, if the variable which is holding the false and if the variable which is holding the true, so if you want to be hold the some kind of Boolean data, the Python which is supporting the two keywords, the first keyword is a false, second keyword is a true. To representing the Boolean false, then we can use the false keyword. To representing the true, we can use the representing the Boolean true, we can use the true keyword. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I go on to find out the data type of the A, and the meanwhile we can try to go for finding the data type of B, then which was returns the bool. Clear?
Yeah.
Yep. Any other questions?
No question.
Now, last but not least, this is fine. For example, I want to define the variable, but the variable I don't want to store anything. In case of Python programming, sorry, C is already defined. That's the reason we got a result. I just want to defining some new name. I want to defining some variable, but the variable I don't want to hold anything. I have to create the variable, but I don't want to store anything. Okay. For example, let me take a small example. You are going to be opening one bank account. Okay. But by the time of creating the bank account, did he store any? Some situations we can deposit some amount. Some situation you're not going to be depositing, right? Yes or no? By the
Yes,
time
sir.
of creating the account, so initial stage. So you are the new person. I mean, you are going to be opening the new bank account. Okay. So there is two options. Either you should go and deposit some minimum amount, or else some situation zero account also we can open it. That means that the bank doesn't have any amount. It's a nil. So usually we can see this kind of thing, right? Nil. So nil means what? Nothing. So when you want to be hold nothing, or I don't want to hold anything, then the Python is supporting the keyword. The Python is supporting the data type. The name of the data type is none type. None type data type. So none type data type means nothing which is holding. There is no data. Nothing or null. Nothing or null or nil. People can call it's a nil. Okay, it's up to your choice. Nothing, null, nil, it's up to our assumptions. Okay, but those things we can representing with a keyword. The name of the keyword is none keyword. With help of the none keyword, so none is the keyword. None is the keyword. It help you to hold or to store null data, store null data or nil data. Okay.
Hmm.
So for example, we have the variable, and the variable is which is not there previously. Now I'm creating, but by the time of creation, I'm not holding anything. Then this kind of data type we are calling it say none type. Clear?
Yes, sir.
See these five examples. These five examples, what exactly you understood? What is the common difference or common thing? Here single variable. This is single data element. This is
Mm-hmm.
single data element. This is single data element, right? And these are the single variables,
Mm-hmm.
and these are also single data elements. Okay, if you go for the next example also same thing. If you go for this example also single variable single data element, here also single variable single data. See, whenever the variable which is holding a single variable which is holding only single data element, then that could be the fundamental data type. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now let's go for understanding the sequential data type. Okay, let's go for understanding the sequential data type. Sequential data type means, so here we have a single variable only, but
Mm-hmm.
the single variable can hold the sequential data elements. Single variable can hold multiple data elements. Multiple data elements. So here we have the string data. So string itself, it's a sequential data type because of it's a collection of characters. So there are group of characters are there, multiple characters are there, so that it's a sequential data type. Okay. Next one is list data. List. Okay. And list data element. What is mean that list? It's something like array. List data
Mm-hmm.
type. String data type. So the string data type, the Python which is having the predefined class, which is the str class. So str predefined class which is mentioning the this is the data type is the string data type. Okay. And the list data type which is representing with the list class, small list class. And the tuple, so people can pronounce something like tuple or tuple, so we can use anything. Okay, for representing the tuple data type, then we can use the tuple class. And the fourth one is the set data type. So you know the sets, right? Venn diagrams. Have you seen that kind of things in mathematics? Venn diagrams, unions,
Yeah, Venn
sets.
diagrams.
Yes, those things we can representing with set data type. Okay, and you know records. JSON files, XML files, okay, dictionary. So usually we can say that it's a dictionary.
Dictionary, yeah.
Okay, dictionary data type. Oh shit. So if you want to creating the dictionary data type and which is representing with dict keyword. Okay, these are the keywords. Sorry, it's not keywords, it's a predefined classes. Set here predefined class, list predefined class, tuple predefined class, and set predefined class, and dict predefined class. These are the 5 predefined classes are representing the 5 corresponding data types, which is string, list, tuple, set, and a dictionary. Clear? Yep. So let's go for understanding the one by one. Okay. So let's go for understanding the one by one. Let's talk about a string data type. So you already know it, right? String means what? It's a collection of characters, a group of characters. Group of characters. Characters can be anything. So within double quotes or single quotes, whatever it is. So for example, we have a variable. Inside of the double quotes, we are holding some kind of group of characters. So Python programming language. This is the way we can hold this some kind of group of characters inside of the double quotes. Then this kind of data type we are calling it say string data type. Clear? And now, so let's talk about the list data type. So list data type. When we are talking about list data type, we have a predefined class, which is the list class is there. Okay. So in the list, in the sense, when you are holding the group of elements in a square brackets. So within the square brackets, we can hold the integer data. The similar data we can use it, not only integers, we can use a float as well. Okay. Pawan, నేను
Revant.
Money and Sai can wait for 1 second.
Yeah, no problem, sir.
Sure.
Okay, so let's take a small example, listed data type. So when we are holding the data inside of the square brackets, so inside of the square brackets, we are trying to be holding the integer data. We can try to hold the float data. Meanwhile, we can hold any kind of data in a square brackets. So this is the type of data we are calling it same listed data type. Money and Sai, are you following my point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're holding the data in a square brackets, that we are calling it say listed data type. So meanwhile, tuple data type. Just I'm showing you a representation. We have each and every data type which is having its own representation, and which is each and every data type which is having its own properties and characteristics. Those things we can talk actually. Okay. Tuple data type. When it comes to the tuple data type, so we can have the tuple. So within the parenthesis, we can hold some kind of group of data. That kind of data type we are calling it's a tuple data type. Just to try to understanding the representation. Set data type we can representing with within the curly braces. Within the curly braces, we are trying to be holding some kind of data that we are calling it say set data type. But dictionary, it's a quite different. Dictionary data type is a quite different. There we're holding some kind of records. The record is having the combination of the key and value. Okay, the key and values are separated with key and value. The key and value are separated with the colon symbol, and key value the pair of key and value are separated with the comma. Okay, that means this is entire record which is separated with the comma. Each and every record which is separated with comma. Each and every key and value which is separated with the colon symbol. Okay, so when you are holding this kind of data, so mainly it can help you to maintain some kind of records. For example, student ID and student name, employee ID and employee name. Okay, and the language and the versions what they are you are released. Okay, Python is a programming language. There are different versions of that. Java is the programming language. So here the Python is the keyword and Java is the keyword. So this is the way you can able to maintain the programming languages and versions and the employee IDs and employee records and the student records. So this is the way you can maintain the somewhat records. Then we can use the dictionary data type. Okay, so here let me go for let me consider as employee ID. Employee ID is employee ID E2 is my employee ID and the corresponding name, for example, money, and E2 is my employee 2 or employee 3. Okay, so corresponding name is, for example, Sai. So here E2 and E3 are the keys and money and Sai are the values. That means money employee ID is E2 and Sai employee ID is E3. Okay, so with help of the employee IDs only we are going to be accessing, or we can give you some kind of task in the companies. So based upon this particular things only, right? So you know what, here one thing I want to tell you, when you want to be maintain some kind of record, then we can use the dictionary data types. Okay, so one common thing we can try to observe here. So here group of characters, here group of elements, here group of elements, here group of elements, here group of records. So here when the data is holding some kind of group of elements, then that kind of data type we are calling it a sequential data type. Clear? Is this clear, my point?
Clear.
Yeah.
Okay, cool enough, and thank you so much. And this is for today's class. Actually, I completed the data types concepts, and if you have any doubts, please let me know. I would like to try to answer your questions.
No, nothing.
Okay, as of now we were done the Python basic concepts, actually data types, and we have a few more functions I want to be introduced here. And the first function is print function. Tell me, what is the use of the print function? To display something on the screen, right? Okay, to
Yeah.
print something on the screen. And so we seen id function. What is the use of the id function? To know the memory location of any variable. For example, so 23, I want to find out the data type, I mean memory location of this one. Then simply we can use the id of a, which was returns the memory location. Okay, return the memory location of any objects. And we seen the type function. So what is the use of the type function? So it can be used to return the data type, right? And for example, here I want to introduce a function which is help function. So with help of the help function, if you don't know anything, then we can get the some kind of information, help. So help is giving help, or which is giving some kind of description, whatever you want in Python. Okay, for example, you don't know what exactly the str, so it's just simply help of str, which is giving some kind of documentation. Okay, so that is the use of the help function. Meanwhile, dir is the function, what kind of information is there inside of that one. Okay, only that overview we can direction we can provide you. For example, previously if I used the set if I use it the help of str, which is giving the full depth information, full document which was provided. But when I used the dir of str, which is giving the directions of each and everything inside of the str function. So in upcoming classes we can able to understand each and everything, that try to be get some information like dir is the function, it will help you to get some directions. Help is the function, it gives the full documentation. Id is the function, it will help you memory location. Type is the function, it can return the data type. Print is the function, it can be used to display the anything on the screen. Meanwhile, we have one more function is there, which is the input function. Okay, so we have the input function. So with help of the input function, we can take the data from the keyboard. We can take the data from the keyboard. So for example, if you want to give the data from the keyboard, then we can use the input function. Okay, so whatever the data you are assigned, or whatever the data you read, that data, if you want to be hold it, we can assign this particular function to any one of the variable. This is the variable, it can be hold what data you are entered. Okay, so we can try to print it. So we can try to print it. For example, I want to enter the 34 340 sorry 345, then it was written the 345 only, it was printing the 345 only. So the box, it will show you if I execute it. Okay, within the box we can type some information. That information will be holding into this var variable, and it was printing with help of the print function. Okay, so this is fine. For example, I want to read the integer data, read the int data, and display data and data type, and we can try to display the data type, and we can try to display the memory location. Okay, so you already know it, right? So input is the function. With help of the input function, it can help you to read the some data, right? If you want to know it some kind of message before you are reading, okay, that message if you want to display, we can write inside of the double quotes something here, enter into data, so that the user can easily recognizing, okay, I would like to go for enter the integer data. So whatever, even if you're not giving the integer data, it won't be rise any kind of error, just it's a message box. Okay, so once if you enter the integer data which is holding into the var, and so we can print that particular data, and we can print the memory location, id of var, and I would like to print the data type of it, so we can use the type of var. Okay, so if I execute this one, here I enter the integer data. See, actually I enter the integer, but what type of data which was considering? It's a string data it was considering. So meanwhile, we can try with float. So when you are try to be enter the float, even which is also giving the same result, so even it is also float. So here I would like to give you some questions assignments for you. Try with other data types. You already know that 10 data types, right? Try with other 8 data types. The above function, the above program, the same program we can try to be executed 8 times. For each time new data type you have to give as an input. Okay, that's your assignment.
Okay.
So that's our question, and I would like to upload this particular file into the canvas. Done. Done. I would like to go for upload the. Oh, sorry. Yes. I would like to go for upload the recording within 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. Okay.
Okay.
Bye. Take care.
Yeah, bye.